Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Mac here. We're continuing part 3 of the Dead Space 3 Collectibles Guide. This covers chapter 11 to 14, and this small section of the game actually has probably over 1/3 of all the collectibles in the game, just because of the amount of optional missions. Either way, we're starting off with chapter 11. Near the beginning, after the main room with the furnace, you'll just enter this area, and there'll be an audio log sitting on the desk to your left. In the very next room, just go through the door and there's a circuit on the wall. There are time links in the description available, so if you open up the description in the YouTube video, you'll easily see all of that information in there for you to use. Next, we'll get to this part where we kind of have to climb down this ladder and use this power core to power this little station. And inside this room, there will be one circuit on the end of the wall there, and just pick it up. We're moving on. This is log 2. This is the 4th collectible. And you'll come to this area, you'll see a little monster run away from you. And as you're kind of trying to go through the level, you'll see that area right there. And it's just next to that door. That one's pretty easy to spot, but just make sure you get it. Now we have 5 collectibles all in this one scene. We'll get to the barracks right before that. Make sure you take this left area and collect the artifact. And after this, make sure you go into the barracks. And once we're in the barracks, there are, I believe, 4 collectibles in that area. So you'll see them. Once you walk in, if you walk to the very end right in front of you, you'll notice what I believe is a text log. Yep, a text log lying on the desk. You'll turn to your right hand side and see another text log just sitting on the desk there. Then you'll see a room with a tungsten torque bar, access only. So make sure you have at least, like I mentioned previously, make sure you have at least 2 to 3, maybe even 4 or 5 of these things on you at all times. Open that door. I think we use maybe 3 of them in this section. And once we're in that room, well, we should have 2 more parts here. They're at the end of the room. We have a weapon part on the left side, which is, I believe, the repeater. And then there's a circuit on the wall on right as you walk in. The next collectible is the 10th of the mission. This is when you come to this big room here and you're asked to make parts for the probe gun. As you walk in, turn to your right-hand side and it lines the wall. Right after this, you're going to have to build a probe gun. It's going to take you a little bit of time, and then you'll have the optional mission of Armory. I suggest you start it, and chronologically, this is what will happen when you start it. As this is the very, very beginning of the mission. This is the first room you'll walk into. You'll see a bench and a suit kiosk. Inside the office that is next to them, you'll find an artifact. Next, we have Circuit 5 and Weapon Part 2. The next few are obviously inside the Armory optional mission, and you'll see that text above every time you see what collectible we're using. You'll see that text to verify that it's that one. So once we're on this bridge, turn to your right, use your kinesis to open the gate and pull the circuit towards you. And then in the next room, just turn to your left-hand side, and there will be a weapon part just sitting on the shelving right there. This is the first blueprint of the chapter, not needed for all the achievements, but we're still collecting them just for fun. We'll get to the area that says Junction. If you use your marker, it'll show you to go to the right. Just go to the left and check behind these lockers to find your a contact beam blueprint. Next, we have Circuit 5 and Circuit 6 and Log 5. You'll come to this section where you have a large bridge, and you'll have that guy fall on your right. I believe this is the 3rd time you come to an area like this, and the room in front of me is called the back hall. Once we get to the back hall, we'll notice that there is a key, an audio log, as well as a circuit, and then we'll continue on through the mission. This is still in the Armory. There's 2 parts here. You'll come to this section and clear out quite a few enemies on the lower level. We'll take the cargo lift down, and there will be more enemies that attack you. Take note, there is a weapon part right there, and there is an audio log in the left corner of the room. As soon as you come down the lift, just kind of walk straight. And across from this audio log, which you see the subtitles on the bottom, there is the key that you actually need to progress through the mission. Still on Armory, artifact number 3. We'll use that key, open this door, and you'll come to a long hallway where you'll be attacked by some enemies. At the very end of this hallway, you'll have, I believe, an artifact. Make sure you clear all the enemies. I already done that, so you won't be able to run just as easy as me, but you want to keep that in mind. This is weapon parts number 4 and 5. I believe these are the last 2 collectibles, but let's see. You'll come to this room after taking an elevator, and there'll be a chest just sitting on its own. Open the chest and you'll have the ammo box weapon part, as well as another part for acid bath. Sorry, stasis support and acid bath. Now you can also use that acid bath weapon part to collect the acid achievement. Now we're doing the co-op optional mission, Archeology, and this will bring us through to the end of chapter 11. So we have collected all possible single player collectibles as of this moment, and you can finish the level and replay this co-op chapter if you're looking to do it. In one of the very first rooms, you'll open the door and the text log will be right on your left hand side. The next log, which is log 8, this collectible is attained when you come to this section with a workbench, and you'll be asked to just continue through this hallway, and the audio log is just on the inside of that hallway there. Keep in mind, a lot of the co-op optional, what would you call them? Co-op optional collectibles are quite easy. This one's one of the harder ones. You'll come to this power generator room, and you'll need that little power core to continue on. You want to shoot that power core up on top of this ladder, or shoot it near the bottom of the ladder and then climb up and pull it up with kinesis, or use your teammate or something along those lines. And once you get it up here, you're going to want to put it in the wall here. And inside that area, there's not really much you can do other than find one collectible, which is a circuit. I believe it's circuit number 7. And you can also place a scavenger bot, I believe, in a popular resource area. But anyways, this one's a little bit confusing, but once you get it, it's gratifying. Log 9 and weapon part 6. We're most of the way through chapter 11 now, finally. You'll come to this area, and right in front of you will be an audio log. You almost can't miss it. And then we're going to move on to Engineering Hall 2. Once you open this door, you will get attacked by enemies, but once you clear them out, you'll have a weapon part just sitting basically in the middle of the room. Keep in mind, if you're playing as Carver with your friend, the level will look a little different. Log 10, 27 of 35 now. You're going to come to this room where there's a ladder and there is an audio log just chilling on the side there. This one's pretty easy as well. So for my teammate, Carver, he saw a lot of toy soldiers and stuff kind of littered around, whereas I would just see barrels and stuff like that. Here you'll come to this corridor where you're supposed to just kind of walk through. You should have a weapon part just sitting right inside here. Keep in mind, I do think you backtrack here using the other door, so keep that in mind. Blueprint number 2. We're almost through Archeology finally. You'll come to a room with a tungsten torque bar access room. So you'll want to install that and then obviously use your kinesis to open it. There is only one blueprint in this room as well as some resources. So you might want to remember that when you're doing it. And that should get you, what is it? The flamethrower. Circuits 8 and 9 and weapon parts 8 and 9. You'll clear out this room, and once you clear out this room, you're going to make sure to open the storage crate. Once you do that, you'll have 2 circuits and 2 weapon parts inside. Just make sure you pick them all up, and if you don't have room in your inventory, just open up your rig and throw it some ammo or health. Now we're moving on to the last 2 collectibles of Chapter 11. Pretty easy. So to get those, you'll just be on your way out of the mission now. After getting that big crate, you'll come to this hallway. There will be a artifact right there on the shelving, and when you turn to your left, you'll see a workbench as well as what seems to be like kind of like a console center. And just run down the hall, and you'll see a box on the wall for a circuit. Chapter 12 has no collectibles, so just play it and have some fun. Moving on to Chapter 13, which is a pretty short chapter and pretty relatively easy when it comes to the collectibles. This is right at the very beginning of the chapter. Make sure you go into the little house unit that you see in front of you once you start the mission, and you will have a circuit on the wall there. Now just make your way outside of this house and look to the side of it. There will be a few pieces of wood and cargo and whatever, and there will be a blueprint just chilling on that box right there. Weapon parts number 1 and 2 for this mission. You'll come to this section where you clear out quite a bit of enemies, and you'll see some tents kind of here lined up. And this first weapon part is pretty much in the way of your travels. And then you'll come to the next kind of intersection. You'll be told to go left. Make sure you keep right, and you'll get your next weapon part. It just is sitting at the end of this little cave system. Pretty easy. Now we're moving on to weapon part 3. This is collectible number 5 of 7. You'll come from the outside into another cave system area, and you'll just keep running through. And if you use your marker, you'll be told to go up and descend up the side of the caves using those machines. Before you do that, you probably want to go to the right hand side and make sure to pick up this weapon part, which is the ammo support. Near the end of the mission, a little bit further on, you'll come to this section where there's a fork in the road. If you use your marker, you'll be told to go right. If you go left, you can make sure to pick up what I believe is an artifact. There's also a scavenger bot in the back of there, but that's obviously not required, but I suggest you pick it up just to make your life a little easier. The last collectible of this mission is weapon part 4. When you come outside of the last cave system, make sure you go right. You'll see a workbench. Just follow the curve and you will see your weapon part, and then you can make sure to dispose of all the collectibles inside the workbench to leave more slots in your thing. Chapter 14, the longest and most disorganized chapter ever. I've tried to make it all chronological for you guys. This is the very beginning of the mission. You'll be told to go up that big ladder. Before you do that, make sure you pick up that collectible. Blueprint 1, you'll come to this section and you'll see a little sign and this snow vehicle. On the back of that snow vehicle, there is a blueprint. Almost every section of this level can be revisited, so keep that in mind. Weapon part 4, once we do manage to get inside, and it'll say biology sector in the bottom right corner, you can pick up a heavy standard frame right on the inside. It's almost not missable. Now we're in the geology path. Make sure you know that I'm in the geology section. You can pick to go to the biology section instead. I took the closest door, which was the geology section. And you saw me referencing a weapon part there in the beginning of this location. I didn't pick it up. That weapon part is actually a part of chapter 15, I believe. So this ripcore that just sits right here, it's actually a part of chapter 15. So keep that in mind. If you do pick it up, it will not count towards this level. It will count towards chapter 15, and it won't show up for you if you do look for it later on. Again, we are still in the geology section. You'll want to run right to the end of here and pick up that collectible next to the optional mission right there. Moving on, we're still in the geology section. You'll come to this section where you go outside and get attacked by a lot of enemies. Keep to the right hand side and follow the wall, and you'll see an artifact just in between those boxes and the rocks. Circuit 2, Blueprint 2, and Weapon Part 3. This is still part of Geology. You can see the doors will say Geology on them instead of Biology or Paleo. And you'll come to this section where everything's frozen. This is one of the last rooms of this part. Just follow the left-hand side, and you'll see a circuit lined up on the board. From this circuit, we're going to move to the right-hand side, as you see here. And through those doors, I believe there will be a torque bar necessary. So once we use the torque bar to open up this room, you will go inside and obviously find 2 more collectibles. One of them is a blueprint, and I believe the other one is a weapon part. We'll take a double look here though. So we have the blueprint for hot death, and as well as the weapon part for a frame. Moving on here, you will complete the geology section and then be offered the option to start disposable services. At the very beginning of disposable services, after the first door you enter, you'll follow this path and you'll see that there is a text log sitting on the desk. Shortly after that, you'll come to this section where the bridge is closed and you'll need to descend down this ladder. Once you get to the bottom of this ladder, you'll be attacked by a lot of enemies. But if you want to, at the very beginning, you can make sure to get this circuit. If you do die, make sure to come back and re-get it because it will not count. Now we're going to get 3 collectibles in one. You'll come down a cargo chute and through a door. And once we get to that door, we're going to have a text log on the desk there. And you'll need another torque bar. This is already the second or third one of chapter 14 to open this door. And once you open it, we'll have some collectibles in here. The collectibles are some ammo boxes and stuff like that really quickly. And then there is a circuit right there on the wall, as very often we see, as well as a weapon part, which is the full zoom scope. Moving on, we go to collectibles 15 and 16. We're still in disposable services, log 3 and artifact 3. You'll come to the section where you pass by a workbench in a hallway across from a console system. You'll open up the room and there'll be a text log floating right in front of you. You almost can't miss it. You'll move on to the next room, and in the next room, if you follow your indicator, just make sure you go all the way straight, then take a right, then a left, and you'll see that there is an artifact. Next, you'll have to kill quite a few enemies, and after you kill all these enemies, you'll have this lift with the storage box come down. If you open up the storage box, there's quite a few collectibles in there as always. There's the precision tip, the compressor, the conic dispersal, and as well as another one. So that's 4 weapon parts in that storage crate. back into the biology section. Here you'll try to deploy the gas, and you'll be unsuccessful, and you'll be told you'll need to repair it. So if you move on into the door next to the deploy gas room, you'll notice that there is a text log right there on that desk, which I actually picked up and forgot to stand in there for you guys. And I moved a little bit too far, but next to the text log, there is a circuit that is just sitting on the wall. Moving on from there, you want to continue on until you do clear out the room using the gas. And using the gas, we're still in the biology section. Now we're back, obviously, into the biology section. You'll want to go into this door after you clear out all of the organic material. And once we get to the next door, you'll have 2 more collectibles in that room, as well as a bunch of enemies to defeat. So once this door opens, just keep left to make sure you get the audio log that is on the end of the wall there. And then go to the very opposite side of the room to make sure you pick up the alien artifact, I hope. Let's see what it is. Yep, alien artifact. Moving on from there, we are now still in the biology sector. You'll be asked to use this door here where you have to take off the plate and then spin it. Once you get into that room, you'll turn to your right. You'll notice that there is right there on the desk, that is actually not a text log, but you'll pick up the circuit. That is a key to the Reaper Barracks, which is the next optional mission. You'll want to pick that up, obviously. Use the torque bar to open that room. And once we open that room, there will be another collectible inside. Once we're inside, it'll be on the right-hand side as soon as you come through the door. And it is the explosive module. Now we're in the paleo section. Remember, this is a separate section of the map. You can kind of pick whichever section you want first. So depending on how you want to do it, you can actually be here a lot earlier than me, although I did the most logical order in my opinion. As soon as you come to the paleo section and you go down the cargo lift, make sure you grab that audio log. Still in the Reaper Barracks, we have 7. This is the very beginning of the Reaper Barracks, which is shortly after starting the paleo section. You'll have 3 text logs in a row. One's right in front of you. You'll open up the gate. Another one will be right in front of you on the floor. And I should have continued through that door. I thought I had to backtrack for the next one, but I was wrong. So exactly where I picked up the last text log, there is a door next to that. Make sure you go through that door and you'll see another floating white text log just sitting on the desk right there. So that is 3 text logs. Now we're in optional mission, Reaper Barracks, still weapon part and circuit. You'll come down a ladder and you'll come to this section where there are these spikes. You'll have to use stasis to get through this section. Keep in mind you can get the There's Always Peng achievement right here, so you might want to keep that in mind. There will be a weapon part right on the desk, and then if you continue on through this section after killing a lot of enemies, just go through this pipe system and make sure you pick up that circuit that's on the wall right there. Next, we have Artifact 5, still in Reaper Barracks. You'll want to come to this section where you clear a lot of enemies. You'll have this bench right here. This is part of Chapter 9. It's like a repeat section. And you'll come into this room and pick up the artifact, the room next to the bench. Moving on, Reaper Barracks, Blueprint 3, Weapon Parts 11 and 12. You'll need to use this bin to get through these next 2 sections. You can do various methods, but you'll see that there's like a laser trap kind of. And what I did was I put the bin in front of the laser trap to trigger it to make sure I wouldn't die. And then there will be a storage crate. Inside that storage crate, we do have 2 weapon parts as well as a blueprint that you'll want to pick up towards the achievement. Keep in mind, if you don't have space in your inventory, you can throw away some ammo and as well as some health packs to make some room. Still in Reaper Barracks, this is 37 of 48. This is coming out of that section. You'll have this little mini game here where you'll need to use to open this door. Once you open this door, you will get attacked by a fluster of enemies. I have cleared them out for you guys. And at the end of the room, there is a circuit board. Keep in mind, this is not on the, it's on the way out, but it's not really on the way. Now we've beaten that mission, and we're back in the paleo section, as you can see on the door there. As we're moving on through the paleo section, you'll come to a room here where there's like a control room. And next to that control room, there is a circuit on the wall, just chilling. So, as always, you want to go up to it and just pick it up using your A button or your X button if you're playing PS3. Then you'll move on and you'll come to this door that says The Zoo. Inside this door, there are, I believe, 2 collectibles. And if you come in, turn to the right, make sure you pick up that alien artifact. and then play the log that's next to it in the room. You'll get attacked by some enemies and then continue on to beat the mission. If you come back and do the co-op optional mission, the optional mission is called Marker Containment. After using the little bridge, the spinny bridge, you'll open this door to trigger this audio log. There is no subtitles for this one, so keep that in mind. It's a little different. Circuit 10, we're going to be doing the optional mission all the way to the end of this video, by the way. You'll come to this part where you're in an ice room. You'll come through the doors. Once you're through the doors, you'll see the circuit just chilling on the ground inside the room on the right-hand side. From there, you'll want to come to this section where there's a cargo lift, and you need to take this cargo lift up even though your marker will tell you to move on through the level. If you run to the end of this catwalk, you'll find an artifact just sitting on the end of the catwalk, and this is one that's pretty much really out of the way, so keep that in mind. Then you'll clear out the room that we were just in, and this is from the cargo lift. You'll want to follow your marker, open that door, and once you open that door, you'll come through, keep to the right hand side, and in the right hand side there is a circuit in one of those caches on the wall. Moving on, weapon part 13. This is collectible number 45 of 48. You'll come to your third spinny bridge, and you'll see that sign that I put there. There will be a ladder right in front of you as you enter the door. Keep left and then just follow the hallway, and you'll see the weapon part laying on the ground right there next to some crates and whatnot. This is the last little collectible here. We have 3 collectibles right at the end of the mission in the cache. You'll open it with your co-op partner, and once you do that, just make sure you pick up everything in that box. And that brings us to the end of part 3. Part 1, 2, and 4 will be linked in the YouTube description. Make sure to use the time links. Thanks for watching the video. If it helped you, help me by liking the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Comment, I make this kind of stuff all the time, and subscribe. I'll see you guys around. Peace.